So hello and welcome to the inaugural podcast. This is my first podcast. It's been an idea for a long time, so finally get the chance to do it. The podcast is called The Wheel. So my name is Willie Laulu, and this podcast will be pretty much specified around sports, any sport, NBA, NFL, NRL, Super Rugby, anything that we can kind of indulge into. So obviously I wouldn't be able to do a podcast without the help of some friends. So today I've got the Outback Snacker Aussie battler, Brendan Blakey. Burbo. And then on the right of me, on your left, I've got, there's no one better, big fella, Wayne Denham.
One and only.
The one and only. So today's podcast is specifically about Origin 1. So obviously Origin 1 is coming up. The first game is this Wednesday, so the game is at the MCG, so it's a bit of a twist to the normal Origin. So the first game is we played in Melbourne. Kickoff will be at 8 p.m. Obviously, this Wednesday, 6th of June. So if we want to, we'll dive straight into it. So the Queensland team obviously has just had a late change. So Billy Slater was named at fullback. But will be big reshuffle because he is injured out with a hamstring injury. So from what I've read, Michael Morgan will be pushed from the bench to fullback. So fullback will be Michael Morgan. On the wings, you've got Valentine Holmes and Dane Gagai. In the centres, we've got Greg Inglis, who is captain, and Will Chambers. In the halves, we've got a new halving partner with Cam Munster at 5'8" and Ben Hunt at halfback. And in the forwards, we've got Jared Wallace at prop with Dylan Napa. Andrew McCulloch makes his debut in hooker for the retiring Cam Smith. Second row, we've got another debutant, Felice Kafusi from the Melbourne Storm. Gavin Cooper partners him, and at the back and the lock is Josh Maguire. And as mentioned before, the interchange has been changed, so Michael Morgan was meant to play interchange, but he's been reshuffled.
Has that been confirmed, fullback and Morgan?
Not sure.
Ponga and
Milford have been called in. Yep. So from what I've read, so we'll just say Ponga is the interchange player now, so number 14. And then the rest of the bench is Josh Papali'i, Colin Hess and Jai Arrow, and their coach is Kevy Walters. Wayne, as a Queensland fan, what do you think about the team, mate?
You see the team. I'm happy with it, with the players that are available to play and like the ones that are actually informed too. You can't really go past what you have there. For myself, I probably would have preferred putting Greg Inglis at fullback, give him a go there, and probably put Michael Morgan into the centres.
Yep. But
I'm assuming Walters has some sort of plan for that. Bring Ponga in.
Yep. What did you think about Milford? We all saw how Milford played in game 1. So if he got called into the team, would you be happy or would you be upset about that one?
I think I'd be pretty upset, to be honest. Kind of gone over the whole fact of having Milford at fullback or in the
halves. So apparently Munster was meant to go to fullback.
I think Munster would be Milford at fullback.
Yeah, he would, but I'm not too sure. I'm not sold on Milford as a player in general.
I've gone off form. I haven't really been too happy with his form this year as well for the Broncos.
Yep.
And Munster and Hunt have generally been the in form players at the moment to be selected for Queensland.
Yep.
So all in all, with all those players, of course you miss the likes of Matt Gillette, who would be an awesome addition to the team.
Yep.
Smith retiring, that hurts, but you need to bleed some of these new guys into the team. So I'm happy with it. I'm confident.
Awesome.
We'll do good.
So we'll move on to the New South Wales side. Obviously, pretty strong side in my book. So fullback, we've got James Tedesco. In the in the wing, we've got Josh Adokar, who makes his debut, and Tommy Turbo Trebojevic, who's also on his debut. And then in the centres, we have two debutants as well. So you have Latrell Mitchell and Jimmy the Jet Roberts. In the halves, we've got the two Panther players. So we've got James Maloney and Nathan Cleary, who's on debut as well. In the front row, we've got another debutant from Penrith, Reagan Campbell-Gillard. In hooker, we've got another debutant in Damien Cook from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. David Clemmer finishes up that front row. Second row, we've got Boyd Cordner, who is captain also. Who partnering him is Tyson Frizzell. And at lock, we also have another debutant, who is Jack de Bellin. Interchange, Tyrone Peachy, Paul Vaughan, Jake Trebojevic and Angus Crichton. They are coached by the new coach, Brad Fittler. Brendan, as a New South Welshman, what do you think of the team? Anything you would change in particular?
The only thing for me was being a Sharks supporter, having not Wade in there.
Yep.
I understand him being injured, and so they put Crichton in there.
Yep.
Overall, I think it's a good squad. I think it was 11 debutants.
Yep.
I think. I'm happy to see Cleary in there. I know he's young, but I think he's ready to go. Especially with Maloney in there, sort of guiding him around and getting him ready. I think. I think it's going to be a good game for us. I think we're definitely going to be able to win it, especially with the experience that Queensland lost now with Slater out and Cam Smith retiring as well, and obviously Thurston and that. So
Yep.
I think the side's very attacking minded. So
I agree.
we'll see if I stop our young boys running around them.
Yep, I agree. We'll go. This is open field. We'll go. Any surprise selections for anyone? I think Brendan covered that with Angus Crichton. I mean, with the potential that New South Wales have in the back row, I was kind of surprised they picked him. I thought maybe Tarek Sims or Wade Graham. I would have picked Wade Graham myself.
Wade just offers something a bit different. He's a ball playing second rower.
Yep.
He can play 5'8".
Yep. I agree.
I'll be honest with the New South Wales side. I was kind of surprised with the whole, with Clemmer and all that kind of thing. You know, I like Reuben Campbell-Gillard, but I kind of felt that New South Wales was overly invested in the Woods.
That was a bit left field for me, to be honest.
Keep it in there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really rate Woods at all.
Yep.
I don't think
I agree.
Woods was good enough to play New South Wales. So, I mean, they went with him. I mean, it kind of keeps with the Penrith theme. I mean, they picked his name Peachy there as well, so maybe they've picked a few players from the same team to sort of gel a bit better. I don't know, but he sees something in him. So
would you have put Gerbo on the bench? Would you have started him instead of Jack DeBellin?
I would have started Gerbo over DeBellin.
So
I think all three of us agree.
I think DeBellin's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
Gerbo just with his brother.
Yep, the combo is kind of missing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What is everyone's thoughts? So Queensland's utility was quite easy. Michael Morgan. What does everyone think about Tyrone Peachy? I mean, he's got a reputation of not great player, just never gives the ball when he needs to.
Yeah, he's a hog, the ball hog. I don't know, I think he's either going to be hit and miss.
Yep.
Because he can be that live wire and he just plays what he sees in front of him. So I think I'm hoping as a New South Wales supporter that he picks his game up and Fittler's been in his ear, to show a bit of dominance and stuff, but we'll see what happens for that.
It might have something to do with what they're going to use him for as well.
Yeah.
How long is he going to play for? How long do you think he's going to come on for?
He might is he coming on for Cook, or is he going to be an extra person there to come on for one of the second rows or for lock?
Yeah, because he can play second row
as
well.
Right.
I wouldn't take off Cook. He's too good, he's too quick.
Unless he's thinking giving him a little bit of a spell to come on to forwards are tired. I don't know.
But then I wouldn't keep him off for longer than 10 minutes.
No,
he's too good. He's easily the form booker. So that's a few surprise selections. Any snubs? So me personally, I always think Dale Finucane gets snubbed every year, but he was injured, so I understand why they went other players. But other than that, I can't really think of any other snubs. If you two have any.
Well, mine, like I said before.
Wade Graham, yep,
Wade
that's a snub. That can be a snub for sure.
I think that's the hard thing when it comes to New South Wales selecting a lot of players. You've got so many good players, like in the front row, you've got Ryan James, he's another great prop.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, you see who your props are now, plus everything else, so like Woods, I'm pretty sure Woods probably would have got selected over him.
Yep.
But, there's just so many players that could have been chosen and just weren't because there's just too much.
What do you think about the whole Andrew Fafita situation?
I would have picked him. I don't really care. I know the
They
rule.
said he was ready to be. They said he could be picked.
I know the rule was obviously he shouldn't be playing, but then they said he was available for 1 and 3 because Tonga played game 2.
Yeah.
So if he was available, you got to pick the best team. I would have picked him ahead of Crichton. I know Crichton's the back row, but then you could have moved JDB back there or something. I sort of picked him if I was a selector.
In my eyes, and I'm not trying to be biased as a Sharks supporter, but he's been to me better than Gillard as a prop. Even the performances. I think what would have stopped him is his knee.
Yeah, 100%. Especially in Origin.
He
go down to 16 men.
Against South the other day, he didn't see himself.
Yeah, if you go down to 16 men in Origin, you
look tired.
Well, that was the reason why he
had the week off
late
before.
withdrawal. From that. So.
Yeah. So I think we can agree there's a few snubs in New South Wales, but Queensland is not really. It's kind of slim pickings, to be honest.
What did you think about Darius Boyd?
Darius Boyd?
I heard Lockyer came out and said if Slater was to go down, that they maybe should pick Darius Boyd.
Darius Boyd. I think
With
no. I
experience.
think there's other people. I think
I
Corey
was
Oates.
really upset about the whole
Yeah, I
thing.
think Val's obviously the best left wing option, and then I think Corey Oates is next, and then I think Darius Boyd. But Darius Boyd's proven, so I guess people can say what they say about that. So one player to watch for everyone. So I'll start. My player to watch is the New South Wales halfback. I think he's going to be scary. He plays like an old player. He's only 21 or 22, but he plays like he's 30 in his season. He's a very scary prospect, and I think he's doing the goal kicking too. So obviously he's got a lot of abilities, and I think he can do it. So my player to watch would be Nathan Cleary from New South Wales. Wayne, who's your player to watch?
I'm looking more at the Maroon squad as well, but in the halves too. I'm looking towards Ben Hunt.
Yep.
You know, he's moved from the Broncos to the Dragons. He's done quite well this year with the Dragons being what they are in the ladder. And, you know, he's given the opportunity to lead the Queensland Maroon squad. So I feel that this is his time to shine, and hopefully he takes a forward step and just leads everyone there. So Ben Hunt's my player.
Yep. Brendan, your player to watch. Paul Gallen's not playing. Remember, mate? So you can't pick him.
I had Cleary initially, but I changed. I'll go with Tedesco. I think with Tedesco playing for the Roosters, I know it's taken him a while to sort of, you know, play what he was playing for the Tigers, but I think playing with the better players that he has been playing with, throwing back into Origin, especially playing well last year in Origin, I think he's going to carve up. I think, gets a bit more ball, and he'll go for a few tries, I think, in Origin this year.
Awesome. All right, I think we've covered everything in regards to the game. I don't think there's much more that needs to be said. Queensland are on a 3-series win, but they've lost. This is pretty much the first time they've had to use a whole new spine. So with Slater out, that takes out the evergreen spine of him, Thurston Cronk, and Cam Smith. So with that spine out, I think it's going to be a more New South Wales dominant game. I think Melbourne is meant to be a home game for Queensland, in my opinion, because there's more Queensland supporters there. So I guess that'll help Queensland, but I can't see it not being dominated by New South Wales. But we'll go into predictions more towards the end. But it should be a good game. Game 1 of Origin is always quite good. So the next segment is called, give it to me, Brendan. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot is the next segment.
Definitely.
So what the
Fan
idea of this segment is pretty much just to give out bold questions and have each member of the panel answer them individually. If they get ridiculed, they get ridiculed, and we can just rip them apart and share the banner through there. So if you give an answer, just back it up, lads. So the first question, I'll start with this one. So the first question was, what is your who was your personal best Origin player ever and why? So mine's biased. Mine sounds real biased. Mine's Cam Smith. I think everything about Origin he is.
Of course it was.
No surprise whatsoever.
I just think there was a few other players got carried in a few games where I don't think he's ever been carried in a game. I think he's done what he's needed to do.
The refs carry him.
The refs carried. Have a chat with the refs boss. I think he's the greatest Origin player I've ever seen. I think he's played the most Test Origins as well. So it sucks not seeing him in the Origin team this year, but he's my personal
That was a big
best.
thing as well.
What's that?
Retiring.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming.
No one did.
It was on Matty John's show, maybe
2
3
weeks before,
or something
talking
like
about
that,
Origin.
talking about
Yep.
how he could play on next year.
Yeah, 100%. And then out of nowhere, he's retired. So he's my greatest Origin player, hands down. Brendan.
I'm gonna go with the greatest player of all time, Andrew Johns.
Like,
I wasn't
Just-
expecting that.
I thought you were going to say Paul Gallen.
He was a close second. Close second. Carried the team for years. A lot of losing years, but he carried him. I'd go Andrew Johns. Just being a kid and watching him play. And then I think it was the 05
Yes,
Origin
yes.
series comes back.
Nightmares. Nightmares.
Just dominated.
Destroyed us by himself, single-handedly.
Was that the year just before he broke his jaw and he just come back and he had no preparation barely for
Yep,
it? And then
yep. He
the
did
ball
like an
ran
Alfie
him
Langer,
off
but a
and
better version.
because I think he won the first game. we
Yep,
won the second
and then he came
third.
into the second and
And-
dominated us.
Yeah, and in Queensland too.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it was just,
Yeah.
just terrible.
It
Terrible
just-
watching.
Just his dominance and just being on the field, he killed it for us. I think.
Yep, I agree. That's a good pick. Wayno.
All right, well, my pick.
My both an Aston, mate.
Definitely toss up between
Willie
him.
Mason.
But I was thinking more of the, it's hard to see, but I never had the body of a back, so I've always looked up to the forwards. And Petro Civoniceva,
Oh, mate.
he's definitely someone I've looked up to as a forward. You can tell that, especially when he's playing Origin, you can tell he's wrecked. But yeah, he put his hand up for a run. He's a workhorse, and he just puts in the work. So I've always just appreciated him and the hard efforts he's put in for Queensland and everything else he's done.
Yep.
Kind of plays like myself as well.
Is that
It's a lot
true?
of
Is that right,
resemblance.
mate?
A lot of resemblance.
A lot of resemblance.
Definitely resemblance.
Mm.
Wait till you see
Massive.
me on the field.
A lot of
A
resemblance.
lot of resemblance.
Both-
Same colour.
Both not
Same
from
name.
Queensland.
Same
Last-
skin colour.
Last name's basically said the same way as well. Completely correct.
Willie Petro Civoniceva.
Good. Next question and shoot your shot is, what is your personal best Origin moment that you witnessed, whether it be live or in TV? And I'll start with you, Wayne.
So my best was back in 2005, Game 1. The intercept pass
Oh,
from
the Noddy.
Noddy
Big Noddy.
Kamali. I don't remember who he was playing for at the time, but but it was just one of those moments. I wasn't there at the game. I was watching it at home, and as soon as he threw that pass, you knew Matty Bond was going to intercept that. He probably knew that right under the post. It was an awesome feeling. It was just reminded you shivers, and then going to school the next day and giving it to the New South Welshman.
Who happens to be
Sharks
opposite. Who happens to be opposite.
Sharks jersey carnival and
Had to
copped it.
represent,
Oh,
mate. Had
mate.
to.
I copped it hard.
Oh, but yeah, 2005 Game 1. None of the other games, just that specific game.
Awesome. So, Brendan, what was your personal best Origin moment that you witnessed?
It'd have to be game 2005 Game 2 Origin. Andrew Johns comeback.
Yep.
I just led off that with the best player, I think, Origin. Brilliant dominance comeback after a broken jaw, killed it. Pretty much him being back won us that series. Just showed you the type of player he was. I don't think he got a try in that second game, but I know in the third game he did. But just his kicking game, those banana kicks and just outside passes, he's a brilliant man.
He's a beast.
Brilliant man. Love to party or two, that guy.
What was that, life of the party?
Lives up for a
Would
party.
have loved to party with him back in his day, I'll tell you that.
And his brother.
Oh,
Better than
dead
Lego.
set. Better than Lego.
Better than Lego.
He's better than
Pretty sure
Lego.
you still can, mate. I don't think they're.
Yeah, I don't think they're done, mate. I think they're still going.
We'll have to go out.
Still hanging out the camps for a reason.
Go up to Newey, mate. You say
Dead
smart.
set. Dead set.
So my personal, this sounds weird. My personal best Origin moment was Game 2, 2014, when Queensland actually lost. I think it was my personal best because I actually felt what New South Wales had to feel for the last 9 years. So I think it's a bit twisted, but I think that's the only reason I enjoyed it, because we had finally lost.
Well,
And
you
we-
know you didn't really go for Queensland when they got pumped back in the early 2000s. You wouldn't have
Oh,
known.
mate,
It's
been,
like-
ever since you've known me, mate, 2002. But that probably for me that was the best because it finally. It was because I reckon it reignited Origin. It was starting to get boring.
had to.
There's something
It started to get boring, and even as a New South Wales
Had to
fan,
happen.
yeah. So
Um,
it's funny. Quick story. Wayne actually came over to watch it, and we had a friend. I will not mention her name. She was a New South Wales supporter. My whole house is Queensland supporters. So when it happened, Wayne and I just went quiet, deleted our Facebook and everything. Little did we know she was taking a video of us the whole time.
Oh,
So she posted it on Facebook. We didn't see it until we activated our
I haven't
Facebook
seen this
again.
video.
Oh mate,
Nah.
it's probably still there if you go on her page.
Might
That's a
have
probably
to-
reported abuse to it.
Yeah, I wanted to report it.
Might have
a few
to
times.
do a bit of searching and put in the comment section.
Oh,
for
it
this
was,
podcast.
I was
It
shattered.
was,
So
it was the moment where we just knew. Yeah,
it was.
like,
I just remember. I think Hodgkinson threw the left dummy straight through. I think Corey Parker missed the tackle, and they had obviously won.
Dead set.
That's probably my favourite moment, only because I thought Origin was back.
that was the same one that Cronk went down.
Yeah, that was when Cherry Evans took over and
Because
just
I-
completely flunked.
If I remember,
Look how
that
far
was
he's
at
gone
that
by now.
moment right then. That was when New South Wales actually felt some sort of hope,
Yeah,
and we had to put our hopes in.
but then remember Game
Cherry
3.
Evans.
Game 3, Cronk came back
Yeah,
and
dominated
destroyed them.
us.
Yeah, and we destroyed them. So here's the big one. This is the big question of the week, the fortnight. So I've asked the boys to combine a total Origin 13 team made up of at least 6 of each stated players, And obviously there's 13, so the odd one out can be from either state. So this was a tough one. On the car ride here, Brendan actually was still going through his. And you can hear his pen, and he's actually going through it now. So what I'll do for Brendan's sake, I'll let Brendan go last. I'll go first, Wayne can go second, and then we can kind of talk about our teams as well. But for Brendan's sake, here are some of the forwards that you can possibly pick from New South Wales. I'll go through a quick list. You've got Craig Fitzgibbon, Nathan Highmarsh, Paul Gallen, Greg Bird, Robbie Kearns, Ben Kennedy, Willie Mason, Andrew Ryan, Anthony Watmo, Brett White, Danny Badiris, Ryan Hoffman, Ben Cray, aka The Pull-Up, Michael Ennis, Aaron Woods, Boyd Cordner, and Andrew Fafita, just for some present players. And in the backs, you've got players like Jamie Lyon, Mark Gasnier, Jared Hayne, Anthony Minicello, Tamata Tahu, Matt Cooper, Braithen Nasta, aka Whaalongo's punching bag, Mitchell Pearce, James Maloney, Joey Johns, Brad Fittler, Brett Stewart, Michael Jennings, the Morris twins, and Kurt Gidley, who was captain. I do not know how. Queensland, you got forwards like the Raging Bull, Gordon Tallis, Shane Webke, Petro Simonasiva, Cam Smith, Tony Carroll, Steve Price, Mick Crocker, Brad Thorne, Carl Webb, Dane Carlaw, Sam Thaiday, Nate Miles, Ashley Harrison, Corey Parker, Dallas Johnson, and Matt Scott, to name a few. And the backs is pretty much an all-star. People you can pick from: Darren Lockyer, Darius Boyd, Brent Tate, Willie Tonga, Greg Inglis, Billy Slater, Steve Bell, Israel Folau, Jonathan Thurston, Cooper Cronk, Willie Chambers, Dane Gagai, Justin Hodges, Reese Wesser, and Carmichael Hunt. So there are just a few of the players you can pick. So I'm going to run through my team quick, and if you boys have live reactions of any of my players, I would love to hear it. So at fullback, I've got Darren Lockyer. Obviously, he started at fullback, then moved to 6. So I've got Lockyer. On the wings, Slater played a game on the wing, so I picked Slater on the wing. And then on my other wing, I've got Jared Hayne. In the centres, this is my little curveball. I've got the boy from Weewa, Jamie Lyon, in the centres. And then the other centre is pretty obvious. I got Greg Inglis, probably the best centre to ever play the game. In the halves, I had Jonathan Thurston at 6, and then Andrew Johns at 7. And then the front row, I've got an all Queensland front row. So I've got Shane Webke, Cam Smith, and Petrol 7 cents a litre. And then in the back row, I've got an all New South Wales back row. So I kind of had to stretch here, but I've got Nathan Highmarsh, Greg Bird, who I think was one of the best Origin players, and then I've got the G train at the back, Paul Gallen.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. That's why I said it's pretty simple. There's nothing really to talk about. It's pretty average. What do you think? There's no real curveball. Maybe Jamie Lyon, but I didn't really have anything else to pick from. It was either him or Gaz, and Wayne said all he did was get offended all the time.
English later, man.
So there was no real thing I could change. So I went Jamie Lyon because he was pretty good player.
He was a good player.
I had to go New South Welshman there, so it was either him, maybe. I mean, Jennings was decent in his Origin career. I could have maybe moved Jared Hayne there and picked another winger, but I've gone with Jamie Lyon. That's probably my curveball. Wayne, it's your turn to shoot your shot, mate.
Get ready for my shot.
Make it a quick one.
Nice and fast, mate.
So I went fullback for Billy Slater. Kept him there. My wings, I put up Israel Folau and Jared
Racism. He's Tongan. That's why.
Any reason, mate.
Played 2 years, mate.
That's it, mate. You didn't know.
The centres, I've done the same thing with Inglis and Jamie Lyon as well.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh, who was the other winger? Sorry, I cut you off. Jared Hayne.
Jared Hayne, yeah.
Yep.
Side chats happening here.
Spoke about it before, mate. So my halves, I put in Lockyer and Andrew Johns.
Ooh, I see. I thought about no Thurston as well.
Yeah. I wanted to put Thurston in, but I was just...
We'll have a chat about it after, but I had a reason why I didn't want to put him in.
So my forward pack is the exact same as well. Webke, Cam Smith, Petro, Simonasiva.
Definitely a side chat.
Now my second row, I put in Nathan Highmarsh, Craig Fitzgibbon.
Oh, Chookies, man. What a joke.
And Paul
No
Gallen.
bias here. No
Yeah.
bias.
Alright?
No, Fitzgibbon was the man. He was a gun player.
Fitzgibbon was a good player.
That's why...
Alright, I think that's why I didn't ask you. Out of all of those good players, who's your captain? Because you could, every one of them could be a captain. Who would you captain?
In honesty, if I was going to choose a captain, I probably would have left it at Smith.
Yeah, I agree.
Like there's people in there like you got your Lockyer and Johns that
Gallen.
they can.
You got 1,000 people who can be
They can
captains.
lead it, but I just think that Cam Smith put them in, give the man the C. He does well. He does well for Australia as well.
Yep.
Got all those star-studded players with him.
Yep.
So.
He's the captain of every team on the field except at home. Brendan, go for it, mate. Shoot your shot.
So at fullback, I've got the Italian stallion there.
Oh,
Marcello.
mate. He's
I can't dish you for that.
That boy can
Can't
play,
dish
I
He's
tell you
a
that.
killer.
Then I've got Matt Gidley on the wing. I got Tahu obviously partnering him because I think that was just lethal.
Yep, yep,
And then on the side I've got Inglis and Hayne.
yep,
I got JT at 5'8" with Andrew Johns partnering him.
yep.
I got Gordon Tallis. at
No
prop.
Lockyer.
No Lockyer.
Wow.
No
Keep
Lockyer.
going.
Yeah, no Lockyer.
Wow.
Good player.
Yeah, 100%.
Bad voice. Good player.
100%.
So I got Tallis there at prop with Petro.
Yep,
Smith, obviously Cam Smith at hooker.
yep,
And I got Mick Crocker, second row with Birdie.
yep. And
And
then
then I've got
Obvious.
obviously the
Big
best
Crocker.
best player ever almost is Gallen. Second best to Johns. The G Train.
So the obvious, alright, I'm going to bring up the obvious omission was, did you have Thurston?
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't have Thurston.
No Thurston, no Lockyer. Why no Lockyer? Because he could have been picked in two positions.
Yeah, fullback and
Yeah.
yeah. He was a great player. I don't know. I just thought Thurston had more of a dominance in those years that you just played.
Really?
To be honest, just
My opinion, I thought he got carried in more. See, when he went down, we could cover him, but when Cronk or Lockyer went down, we struggled. That's the only reason. That's why I didn't want to pick him.
yeah.
But I know what you mean. He played like 30-something games straight. He was our goal
I just think
kicker.
His kicking abilities.
Yeah.
It just reminds me. A lot of people have the debate Johns or JT.
You
So,
didn't want. You wanted to put them
I
next to each
thought
other.
JT is obviously your version of Andrew Johns, Queensland's version of Andrew Johns.
Yep.
And he plays very like him. His kicking abilities,
Yep.
you know, his try scoring abilities, just his offloading. So yeah, I put him there. I thought, I mean, it's hard to leave someone out. There's always going to be someone like
Yeah,
that.
100%.
I think Lockie's a great player.
Yep. No, I
Like JT,
agree.
and yeah,
Why no JT? Big Wayne.
See,
You think the same as me? Do you think he got carried in a few games?
I think he got carried in a few games. I kind of feel that we can kind of get through the whole Jonathan Thurston era. You know, he played the second game for us last year, and we still did fairly well without him.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, fair enough, we got pumped in that first game,
Yep.
but I still think that we can get past that. Where, like, I would have chosen Lockyer at fullback as well, but I think Slater, he's
He's a better
He's
fullback.
up there.
Yeah. I just needed to put. I needed to get all three of them in there somehow. No.
So I put him out there. Outside of Origin, I think Slater's a grow up, but in Origin, you know,
yeah, I can't
he's
see
up
him.
there. He's the top.
Get what you're talking about, mate.
All right, so
Definite grab there.
So I put him. I put Thurston in. Well, not Thurston, Lockyer, and you can't really go past Andrew Johns either.
Yeah.
He's
I don't
immortal
think
for a
you
reason.
Could leave Andrew.
No,
Johns.
he's got to
He
be.
has to be in.
He was the only.
The time
So
frame we picked.
when I made up the rule of the New South Wales 6 players, he was the only player that was automatic and Gallen,
He was my first player.
and then the rest was just kind
Well,
of.
did you guys do the whole when you first started? You went like for the spine first, or did you
No.
just go like?
To be
one
honest, I
player
went Andrew
first?
Johns. I started Andrew
started
Johns, and then I went
Andrew
around Andrew Johns.
Okay.
He was the first I picked, because if you're thinking Origin, you think Andrew Johns,
Yeah.
Cam, probably the top two, and then remember because people forget you picked Slater. I picked Slater on the wing. He started on the wing.
No,
He couldn't get in front of Carmichael Hunt. So Carmichael Hunt
I forgot that.
was in front of him, and then you had like Matty Bowen was there at one point.
Yeah. So you look at half those players too. If you're going back to a certain year and how many players have played Origin for both New South Wales and Queensland, and you got to pick a 13-man squad with just 6 of each and then one
Yeah.
random, it's a difficult
That
thing
was
to
the hard
choose.
thing.
There's going to be so many people you want to put in.
Yeah,
A name that you haven't heard in such a long time. Like, oh man, he was good.
I think the only unanimous. I think there would have been 3 unanimouses from all of us. It would have been Greg Inglis in the centre, Cam Smith at hooker, and Andrew Johns at 7. I don't think there
Did
was
we all
any.
have Petro?
Yeah,
Petro.
yeah.
I think the forwards kind of come into it too.
Yeah.
Like,
The forwards, so I went backs first, and then I just kind of filled my forwards. So when I had Hindmarsh originally, and then when I saw Greg Bird, I forgot how good he was in Origin. He was
Just
one
his
of
physicality.
he was one of the best players in
He is-
Origin ever.
yeah, he was Oscar.
He was underrated.
And he acted non-stop on that field, pretending.
I think he
was
played
injured.
better when he left the Sharks.
Bruce
Though.
Brothers,
What do you think?
Sharks, man.
When he was at Titan, the Greg Bird Titan,
Well, where's he won his premiership?
Greg Bird Titan, mate.
I mean,
Oh, mate.
Sam
But,
Gross, mate,
See,
Sam
I
Gross.
left Ben Kennedy out, and that was a big one.
Yeah,
I think
Ben
he
Kennedy
was-
he was a beast.
I know we've been talking about Cam Smith, but Danny Badiris
Was
in
great.
his years we won
That's what I
3
said
in a
to
row.
him. On the way here. I was saying to Wayne, he was so good, and then
Yeah.
out of nowhere, Cam just takes over.
Can you imagine being like, say for example, either Ivan State and you can only play hooker? Imagine those other hookers that want to play Origin and you're behind Cameron Smith and,
And
Danny
Badiris
Badiris.
for years.
What chance do you have?
Yeah.
You're not going to get selected for Australia or for New South Wales. Say
I guess
Leicester
so.
City Country, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what even worse is if Badiris was a Queenslander, and they had to pick. So he's obviously the second best hooker in the game, and then you're picking Cam first, and old mate just does nothing. You can't even make the team.
Yeah.
So
Because you wouldn't put him on the bench.
that's what I
That's
mean.
the way
There's no
that's
point
Cam's
putting
game.
someone on the bench that's a hooker. So, so that's that was the teams. Any final words on that, boys? I think everyone was straightforward. I think there was a few unanimous picks, but that was a good little game to play. It's always harder picking New South Wales players in that era because Queensland was so dominant. But I think if we did it in another 5 years, there'd be a lot more New South Wales players. So don't hang your head in shame, Brendan. It's all right, mate.
It's fine, mate.
It's okay.
Blue and proud, mate.
Cool, correct. So that's it for Shoot Your Shot. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do the roundup. So roundup is just quick fire answers. I'll ask a question, give me your quickest answer, and then we'll share last words, and then we'll close up our inaugural podcast. So the first question for the roundup: what is your prediction for the game, Brendan? Give me a score level and who wins.
New South Wales.
Yep.
I think with the experience, missing Slater now. I think I think 28-12. I'm gonna go 28-12. Yeah, I just think now with Slater gone, I was confident without him, with him there. Now with him out there, I think yeah. I mean, it could be a bit closer, but I think we'll win by at least 12. By
Yep.
At least 12. So
Wayne,
I'm
prediction.
going probably more Queensland way, obviously. But I'm thinking more of a 16-15.
Field goal. Who kicks the field goal? Cleary or Maloney?
Cloud.
Oh, sorry, you'll go Queensland. Munster or Hunt?
I don't know, it's a difficult one to say. It could even be Holmes goes in and tries to kick it as well. He's done it a couple of times for the
so you
Sharks.
say 16-15.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like they come up, you guys get in front by the one, and then we come up and just take it.
Or
out.
get a penalty?
Yeah.
Or get okay.
The way the penalty's going is
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Offside in the 10
Yeah,
can come
yeah.
out of the way.
So who's going to get your penalty if you haven't got Cam Smith?
Mate, we've got a ton of players in the New South Wales full of grubs, so they're going to try and do something to.
We've got no divers anymore, mate.
Yeah.
We lost all our divers.
Well, not that we had any in the first place.
All the divers are gone.
All class A's.
I'm going New South Wales 32-10. I think it's going to be dominant. Before Slater, I actually told Wayne I thought Queensland would just win, but massive difference. I don't care who they put at the back. You're not going to cover what he would have done. Next question: who kicks the field goal if a field goal is necessary for New South Wales? Brendan.
James Maloney.
Queensland. Wayne.
Probably Holmes.
Really?
Yeah,
Off the
Holmes.
wing.
Yeah. I reckon everyone's going to be sussing out Ben Hunt or Munster,
Yep.
and then, surprise, Val Holmes comes out of nowhere and just takes it.
I like it. And man of the match, Brendan. You said you had one earlier. Who's
James
pick?
Maloney. I think Clear is going to have a good game, but I think it's going to depend on James Maloney and how he dictates his game.
Yep.
I think how he plays is going to give the Cleary to stand up. I think, I reckon if there is a field goal, he'll kick it. And I think just his experience, just being there with different partners and stuff, and now he's got his club man with him, it's just going to be a big difference for him.
Yep. Good answer. Wayne, man of the match.
Probably going towards Greg Inglis.
Where fullback English or centre English?
If he's going fullback, 100%. I think even in the centres, he's still deadly and he can still pull off something bad.
Yep.
I guarantee there's some sort of plan for him to still play that fullback role somewhere in the game as well. Where especially with Slater right now, they're going to need someone to fill into that gap as well.
Yep.
He's just a deadly force anyway. So I feel that with that, then with the attention to him being being anywhere on that field, I reckon he's just going to be a live wire. He's going to kill it. He's going to need to step up anyway.
Yep.
And I reckon that potential to come in the match.
I'm going Nathan Cleary. I just think he's a beast. He's very mature, and he plays well above his age. Final question: which matchup are you most looking forward to for the game, Brendan? Actually, I'll go first. Give you time to think. I'm looking forward to Latrell against Chambers. Chambers is known for defense, but this year he's been kind of average. So I'd be excited to see Latrell's on fire on attack. So I'm excited to see how those two go. Wayne.
I think I'm looking forward to the forward battle. I think after reading Campbell Gillard's comments that he made about going out there and wanted to smash a few people.
Kill, I think was the word.
Right? Wanted to keep PG.
Good words. Great words.
Great words.
Wallace came back with
the scary thing is, I think he's crazy enough to do it.
I reckon him and Clemmer, they can.
But then I don't think Vaughan can do what they can do. Vaughan is a finesse type prop.
That's what.
He's got the footwork, he's got offload. And then who else they got? Crichton's not very fiery, is he?
If the Bellin comes on,
Jack DeBellin's going to have to come on as a psycho. Jake Trbojevic probably the most softest bloke ever.
But he can tackle.
He can tackle, he can play in general.
So when I saw Campbell Gillard come out with that comments, and then I think Jared Wallace came out with something else saying he's going to need to back it up, but they'll come up with the challenge.
Yeah.
I reckon it's been put there. It's going to be good. Wallace and Napa versus Regan Campbell Gillard and Clemmer.
Wallace won't do anything, but let's move on. Napa's more of a ticket than Wallace.
Hopefully Napa does something for him. He's been playing with the Titans, mate, so hopefully.
Brendan, what matchup?
Ben Hunt's calf and Frizzell's shoulder.
Oh, that's that is good. That's right.
I honestly think I seen him in an interview. I think it was today. How he said it'll be fine. I think it's a cork now or whatever. They're going to test him out. They said they're not going to target him. They're going to target him. You take Hunt out.
Will there be a replay of Game 2 last year when Thurston barely held his shoulder open and they didn't attack him? Or do you think Freddie is smarter than that?
Freddie's smarter than Laurie Daly. I'm sorry, but
I know you rate Laurie Daly heavily.
Such a nice guy. Dead set. He's better than that. And if it happens again, the same thing where he can't walk, they'll keep going for it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the thing comes down to is that the coach can say whatever he wants, if the players are actually going to do it. Is another thing. The coach can say you need to do this, but then the players just like,
if he's on, what side is that? Is that Maloney's side? If it's Maloney's side, it's happening. He's too smart. Is it?
No, actually, if it's Maloney,
if it's Maloney and Frizzell together, it's going to happen. Maloney will hit him.
Yeah, definitely.
Maloney will get him for sure. He's too smart. If it's Cleary,
they're going to test it out.
Yeah.
It's just like they said today. If Slater was 100%, they would have
kicked it all over the park. Yep.
They would have tested him out.
All right. Any final words for Origin, gentlemen? I don't think we're not watching together, but I'm sure the group chat will be going off.
One thing I've got is where do you think Slater comes for Game 2? I honestly don't think he'll play.
I don't think. I said earlier to someone.
And he's got a hamstring.
Yeah, I said earlier to someone. I think this is a sneaky way of retiring. I think he was always going to get named, and then I don't think he was ever going to play. I think he's too scared to play without his boys. And I know that's kind of weak.
Short turnaround now.
I think it's kind of weak because
the next game, so
they won a few series without him.
Yeah. And
now he's got the opportunity to win without them, and I don't think he's game enough to do it. So that's what I think personally. But
he's not known as a grub, so
no, he's clean as.
Very clean.
He's very
above board with everything.
So clean. Never elbows people in the mouth ever.
I've never seen him kick anyone in the head.
Never trips over himself. Pretends someone else.
I don't think he's going to play. I think he's done, and I think Kevin knows that. I think the press conference was all predetermined. So
yeah.
Well, I got a question from you. Since Mitchell Pearce isn't in the squad, who's going to blame for losing?
Here we go.
Shoot, your shot was finished, mate, and he's shooting it.
That's sad.
Just putting it out there. There's no Pearce, no Woods.
Shooting it.
Whose fault is it this time? Can't be the refs. We don't have Smith.
Well, yeah, I think Ashley Klein's one of the refs. Isn't he? Like terrible referee.
Who are the refs?
He used to be a referee in the Parramatta division back in when my dad coached A grade for Leila Park.
Ashley Klein.
Mm.
He did
hated him then.
I remember the only time I ever liked him, he did the 08 World Cup where we beat New Zealand, beat Australia. He did that. He did some dodgy calls, bro. He did some filthy calls. He had a black jersey under that. That pink jersey.
Round for a few hungies out there.
Had some meat.
That's sad.
But overall, I think it's going to be a good game. I can't see New South Wales not winning, and that's not even talking them down. I actually think now Slater's out. It's
odds stacked against him.
It's all she wrote, mate. It's all she wrote.
Always stood up.
Yep. That comes to the end of the podcast. So we want to thank everyone for listening. Thank these gentlemen for taking their time out and doing the podcast with me. And we'll be doing the next podcast for Origin 2, so another fortnight. So be sure to subscribe and listen to that. Thanks, guys.